But yes.
All right, good morning, folks. It is the 23rd day of February, 2026. It is 9 a.m. We're in the Commissioner's Courtroom in the Aransas County Courthouse located at 308 North Live Oak, Rockport, Texas, 78382. I call this regular agenda meeting to order. Please stand and join me with the invocation.
Please join me as I pray. As always, Father, we're thankful for the blessings of this beautiful day you've given us and just for the privilege of living in this great country, this great state, and this great county. And Lord, as we approach the 250th anniversary of this great country, we look to our founding fathers as a model for leadership. As we go through this election cycle and we choose our leaders, we look to the model of our first leaders. And John Adams said that democracy was envisioned for a moral and a religious people, and it is totally inadequate for the governance of any other. And Lord, we know that you've been a part of this great nation since before the inception of it, and we just pray your blessing on this great nation. But one thing about leadership is that leadership is not about personal gain, it's about personal sacrifice. And our founding leaders, most of them, if not all of them, that signed the Constitution lost everything in the Revolutionary War to create this great country. So as we choose our leaders, we always need to remember it's not about gain, but it's about sacrifice. And these commissioners in this court right now, and all those that have served in the past, and the ones that are going to serve in the future, will learn that sacrifice is part of service. And we also best serve you when we serve others. So we just pray that as we go forward, that you'll remind us what leadership is about and learn how to serve to the benefit of all the citizens of this county. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me with the pledges.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Here.
Commissioner Casterline.
Here.
Commissioner Russo.
Here.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Here.
Judge Garza.
Here. We got 5 members. We've got a full court. At this time, we hear from citizens to be heard. I've got one. And Miss Marilyn Stoner, would you like to speak now or speak whenever we get to that agenda item?
Judge, she did not want to speak.
Oh, no. Okay. Are you for the motion? Are you for the that item? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to presentations and proclamations. Number 1 is a presentation from, I've got an error on here, I put Kevin James, but it's actually Travis James, providing an update on the Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone, TERS number 1, including progress and overview. Mr. James, good morning.
Kevin James is a comedian. Travis James, unfortunately. I hope nobody showed up thinking they were going to.
It was a packed house here.
So thank you all, Judge Commissioner. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
It's been a while. As we talked about last time, this is a process, and it's important that we get it right and we take our time and make sure everybody knows what's going on and the process is transparent. So my job today, Vanessa, the city asked me to come, is to just give you an update on where we are, what items still need to be accomplished to sort of fully implement this. I think you all had a vote a couple months ago on an interlocal agreement, and there were some changes you all wanted to be made, or at least talk about with the city. We had a conversation last week with the attorneys involved, the Fine Attorney Jim Allison, and so the city's attorney is going to take that feedback and come back to you later this week with those revisions, if that makes sense to everybody. So let me just remind everybody, these are an economic development tool used to pay for projects, infrastructure, and projects that you all support. It's not a property tax increase. It's a dedicated zone, and a portion of those future taxes pay for those projects within the zone. This is a list, state law outlines what you can and can't do. So you can't do anything you want, you've got to comply with state law. This is the broad list of projects, public infrastructure, sidewalks, affordable housing, public buildings. These are the kinds of things you use the money on. And as we talked about last time, and this was one of y'all's comments or feedback, is how you want your money to be used and not used. And that's totally fine, and we can take that into account. We talked about this last time, most of the time, what we call is pay-as-you-go. So as cash comes in, you spend it. Other times, like how it's contemplated for one of the projects, is that the developer will pay for costs up front, and they will get reimbursed over time as their project gets built and generates money. So there's several different ways, but those are the two common ones. Pay-as-you-go, or somebody does something in the zone that you agree to, and you pay them back over time. If they build infrastructure, but they don't build their project, then there is no money to pay them back. So they're on the hook for what they're building, and they're on the hook to get repaid as long as they build those taxable projects within the zone. This is where we got through last time. We got through step number 5. The city ordinance 1946 in August of '24 was the second reading when the city formally created the zone, created the board. You all agreed to join via interlocal agreement on the 24th of December 24. Now we're talking about the interlocal agreement that y'all had the vote in December to join the TERS, and you do that via interlocal agreement. That's how it works across the state. We still have to finish those final, 6, 7, and 8, but the city wanted to wait to have the county and NAV district join if they so chose, and then have their board members put on.
Excuse me, just one sec. I received a message that they've lost the online feed for Travis.
Getting that as well. I'm showing audio going out, so.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Want to wait or keep going? All right, how's that? You good?
Colin, do you need to come up here?
Try it again. All right, so we'll see if that works. So I'll just repeat this slide. So as we talked about over the past year or so, both to the city and the county, this is a process. This is outlined in state law. So these are the 8 steps you have to get through. We got through about half of them. So the TERS was created by the city at the end of '24. That set that base year, and I'll go over that again. The county agreed to join via interlocal agreement in December. We're still working on the interlocal agreement. I think we're close, and we can be done with that in the next couple of weeks. At that point, the TERS board would meet and work through items 6, 7, and 8. The city and county courts still have a role to play, but this is a high level, again, outlined in state law, the process. Clicking forward one, no longer. Okay, this is the approved downtown TERS. The boundaries have not changed, so this is the agreement that the TERS boundaries that we saw over the past, 12 to 18 months. It complies with state law. This was the graphic that we talked about before about how that tax revenue increment would work, that the current taxes you collect on the property you collect, it's only a portion of that future growth. I have an example. So this is actual data for '25. So this is a good illustration. You would do this calculation every year. I'll talk about that yellow and, or that red tax rate, and then I think there was some conversation about whether the road and flood would be included, that rate, or not included. I'll come to that in a minute. I left it in here just for illustration purposes to make it easier. So the base value is about $30 million. In '25, it was $32 million. So you take the $32 million minus the base year. The city is allocated 60%. You all have talked about feeling comfortable at 50%. Multiply it by the tax rate. So in theory, if everybody was a current member, we were using the full tax rate, the city contributes About $5,800, the county puts in $4,300, and the NAB district puts in $343. So in year one, the tourists would have made $10,000. Does that make sense to everybody? The idea is the developer has to build their much more expensive project, and that's where the money really comes from, is that new development. And you've heard them talk about their project. I'll let them talk about it since it's their project. But this is how it works. So in 26, you do the same thing. You take the 26 minus 24, 50%, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense to everybody? So again, I think the county said, the feedback was they don't want to contribute the road and flood, and that's about 4 or 5 cents. So when you do the calculation, you'd be using 33 cents, not the 37. But to not confuse everybody, if you wouldn't double check, I just left those rates in there, and that's why I have it highlighted. So based on the feedback, and here's the breakdown of those tax rates. So based on the pro forma, what the developers talked about, and the TERS, this is how much money the TERS would generate over 25 years if the developer built their project as contemplated. The TERS would collect about $35 million, and the public sector entities would keep 28. The county is keeping 50-50 with the NAB district, and the city is putting in 60%. That's why those two columns don't have the same numbers, because the city wants to put in 60%. So this is just a forecast based on their plan that you all have seen. Does that make sense to everybody? So where we are on the process? All right, so we got to finish the ILA. So I've tried to summarize, Judge and Commissioner, sort of the feedback as we understand it from y'all's last meeting. You all are not interested in your funds being used for debt, for bonds, for debt, and so we would outline that in the interlocal agreement. It would say you can't use county funds for bonds. You all indicated that public infrastructure was the county's focus. You wanted your money to be spent on roads, sidewalks, utilities, public spaces. And so that will be documented in that interlocal agreement. I'll come back to board seats. Road and flood tax rate, that will get removed, as I talked about, as part of this, that it'll only use the county's rate. We'll describe what's a material change. So sometimes it's important to think there are going to be a few things we don't know about. Costs may go up, they may go down, and so instead of having to constantly be updating the final project and finance plan, a lot of cities and counties put in what's a material change and what's not. I like the example that Cameron County uses with all the cities, Brownsville, Harlingen, they have an example. We're going to put that in there, and then we can discuss it and change it as needed. But so that's an example that we're going to use from Cameron County. And then about economic development agreements. Board seats, the ordinance says 7 seats. The city ordinance to create the tourist says 7 seats. And based on the contribution of the tax revenue and what the city's requesting is they would have 4 seats, the county would have 2, and the NAB district would have 1. So it's a total of 7 seats. So once we negotiate the interlocal agreement, you and the city and the attorneys agree to everything, you sign the interlocal agreement, we have to prepare that final project and finance plan. And then as what the interlocal agreement says is both the city and the county have to approve that plan. So once you outline everything in the interlocal agreement and all your specifications, you then still have to approve the final project and finance plan. So there's going to be 3 or 4 more steps along the way. Yes, sir.
Well, just want, tell me about the board makeup again. I didn't quite.
So the state
Before
law says
to-
you have to have a minimum of 5, a maximum of 15. And so we decided that the recommendation was 7, assuming the county and NAB district join. The city would get 4, the county gets 2, and the NAB district gets 1. And that also coincides with the percentage of revenue putting in. You take the percentage of the tax revenue, it roughly equates to the city getting 4, you all get the other 3. So you have an odd number, you have a chair appointed every year. As we talked about, these are public meetings, they'd be held at the city facility, they could be held here. There's meeting minutes, there's notices that are published, financials are published as well. And so you would appoint your representatives, and the city appoints theirs, and the city picks a board chair every year. Every year, the city has to pick who's the chair of the tourist committee.
Judge, can we make a comment, or?
Yeah.
I guess my concern about the 7, and there being 2 for the county, and you're saying basically you're taking the county and navigation district, looking their proportion as 1. Our proportion is 1, but really when you look at it, the county's proportion, what we're putting in there is much, in my mind, much more than just having two representatives on the board. Because the navigations district is a
Right.
very small amount
Sure.
compared to ours.
Understood, so by state law, you get one, regardless of how much money you put in. If you put money in by
Well,
state law,
Right.
you get one.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I'm just having issues with that.
Right, and this is all still negotiable. We're still
Okay.
negotiating.
Okay.
So one thing we looked at was if you look at the
But
tax rates.
can I ask another question on that very thing?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything that says that we can't have a member of the public that serves on none of the boards as a member? Downtown association or just a general purpose member?
Somebody
Yeah,
would
because
have
we're,
to- Somebody would have to appoint them as one of their seats.
that I don't like. I understand that the city's putting the majority in. Okay, but their votes are 2 to our 1.
Sure.
I trust the city totally, everything, but things change.
Sure.
And
I understand.
right now, the city can run any kind of game that they want to as long as it's legal, and we can't outvote them. So, to me, that's not a board. To me, that's a manager with 3 assistants. And I have a problem with that. But the other thing too is these are all elected boards, okay? They're elected officials are appointed by this. But is there a way that we can have one or 2, if you want an even number, of citizens that have no interest in that down there? They're the other ones that are paying the rest of the bills. I'd like to see that at least considered. I trust the city, there's no problem, has nothing to do with trust. But times change, and both with the county and the city and the NAV district, all change.
So I think that's why I'll answer it a couple ways, and I understand what you're saying, and that's not uncommon. The first is anything you feel uncomfortable with, put in the interlocal agreement. So if you don't want your money spent on tourists.
No, I don't have a problem with that. We've talked about that. I think the county, whenever it decides what it wants on, will be solid and firm and well thought out. But I'm just saying 10 years from now or 5 years from now or something like that, the majority of the people that are being affected by this don't live in the downtown, in the reclaiming zone, that help them with the taxes overall. But the public needs to have at least 1 and maybe 2 members on this that are agreed to by everyone.
So that would be something to negotiate with the city.
Okay, that's something we could negotiate.
Right, what state
All right.
law tells you is that the entities appoint the people they choose to be on the board.
Okay,
And so, I understand what you're saying. If you want, I'll make this up, if the county really wants someone from the downtown association, you all would have to agree to have one of our board members, you would elect the person who's the downtown.
Right.
If you wanted somebody from out, just another part of the county, you would use up one of your board seats to appoint that person.
yeah, that doesn't help us with tit for tat.
And that's something to talk to them about in the interlocal. I can only tell you, that's how the appointment process works.
Excuse me one sec. So it sounds like his mic is not working, and his voice is being picked up maybe from our mics.
One, two.
That sounded like it was working.
Well,
You-
I'll talk a little closer.
Okay,
There you go.
that's,
How about
yeah,
that?
that's probably,
So we've worked out all the problems for people online, and so those are things to talk about in the interlocal agreement, those conversations. I completely understand just how that appointment process works as outlined in state law. So you would have to reach some kind of agreement on how those 7 or 8 or 9, whatever those board seats were allocated, and those people get reappointed every 2 years. So that is the process.
okay.
All right.
Any other? So just to recap, and I'll finish up, Judge, is that we will come back with the feedback that the city got. The city's attorney is going to incorporate the feedback we got today, the feedback you all gave a couple weeks ago or 2 months ago, and you'll see another version of the interlocal agreement.
That sounds good.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Travis. And the report is that now they can hear him. Now he's done.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, motion passes, consent agenda is accepted. Item number 3,
Presentation and discussion of the 2025 annual update of the Pathway Strategic Plan from Aransas Pathway Steering Committee Chair, Rich Connell. Good morning.
good morning, Mr.
Good
Connell.
morning.
It's good to see you.
Always a pleasure to be up here in front of the court,
Good.
extolling the great place we live in, the physical habitat, and our weather. Saying that, let's get started. See if I do this. What Aransas Pathways does, we strive to meet the ecotourism needs of our local folks as well as the visitors to our community. Currently, the venue sites are being very well maintained thanks to the hard work of the facility staff under the leadership of Renee Butler. We do appreciate that. Here's a picture of one of our meetings that occurs once a month. As you can see, it's a very collaborative group, people working together to tackle the challenges and our events that we schedule on an annual basis. This was a real initiative of Pathways this last 6 months. New signs were designed for the sites. It welcomes folks to the sites, but also gives them kind of a friendly update on what we expect of their decorum when they're visiting our sites. This has been quite an achievement here. Pam asked me one night, she said, we could use a kayak trail here in Copano, in Aransas County. And after that, Jim Farnsworth took the reins and created a 30-mile long kayak trail. Starts all the way up like Cavasso Creek and goes all the way to the 188 kayak site on Port Bay. The trail has been included in the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department's listing of approved paddling trails. I'm going to ask Pam to speak on history.
So as you all know, our little history center is a historic building, and many things happened to that kind of a building. And so after 15 years of being the history center, we needed some major repairs due to some termite damage and other. So we've had some major repairs to especially the floor. All of the walls have been repainted, and the outside, which had been somewhat neglected, has been freshly painted. It's due to open on March 21st. So we're looking at opening with a wonderful exhibit on Vaqueros. I think it'll be really fun.
Thank you. Over the last 6 months, we've done several upgrades, or many upgrades to two sites, two of our venue sites, the Airport Road Kayak Launch Site and the Linda Castro Nature Sanctuary. The roof was completed over the gathering area for Castro in time for Hummerfest. Additional signage, fencing, sculpture installation, and roadway upgrades are currently in progress at Castro, with completion expected by June 2026. The Airport Road Kayak Site is still in the evaluation and planning stage. Moving along slowly, but moving. Oops, let me go back one. Pam, will you speak to that?
Sure. One of the ways that we get people to come to our sites is to have activities. And so one of the most popular things, and a number of you have visited those, is to have bird banding. And this is done by our bird representative, Rebecca Rylander. And she's an ornithologist who's collecting data, not just demonstrating how to band birds, but also using that data to report to the Ornithological Society. So we feel like this is a really wonderful citizen effort to create scientific information, and we've been really, really proud of that. The other things that we've done have been with the paddling trail, doing a sunset paddle, and then we'll begin to pick up with the history programs again. In marketing, we've taken the initiative with our new coordinator to really look outside the community. One of the things that we're most interested is getting people on our sites and inviting people in. So we've begun to go to birding events outside the community. She spent, I think, 3 or maybe 4 days down in the valley, one of the major birding conventions for the state in the fall, to begin to invite people here. We're also planning something called Bird Days to invite some of those same audiences here. It's a really large audience, and we're really looking forward to that. She's also participating in regional tourism development organizations, so that she's partnering with those kinds of organizations. We're also looking, I'm not sure if it's up there, but we're also looking to increase the idea of people using the trails. And there is an organization called Folk Sport, was actually the U.S. Group started in Fredericksburg. And this is a group that gets credit for walking miles without a watch, okay? They record them as they come in. And we have some trails right now that are part of this program, and we're looking at adding more to that program so that we invite more people to come in and use our walking trails, get credit for it. And again, it's a statewide system. Just like getting the paddling trail on the statewide system gives us a lot more visibility, I think that this walking program will also give us more visibility.
And we had a group from San Antonio here.
Yes,
little over a year
and a
ago.
half ago,
Yeah.
we had a special event. There are 2 types of walking programs. There's one that's called the year-long or year-round program, and you set those up with spots to sign in, and then you have special events, which we did a year and a half ago.
The 4 pillars of Pathways is birding, hiking and biking, history, and kayaking. Just need to go through the community. All those opportunities are available. Pam, you talk about Facebook?
Sure. Facebook has been a major way to implement publicity as well as advertising in the pilot whenever we're doing activities. But our Facebook posts are anywhere from 2 to 4 a week. And so we have a lot of interaction from that and are able to really expand our profile on Facebook. We think it's been a major piece that we've been able to use, directing them, of course, to the website.
We've welcomed in a new coordinator for Pathways, Leah Mededo. Works with the committee. She coordinates our meetings. She monitors the sites, creates events, Facebook content, and marketing opportunity. She's a real dynamo. We're lucky to have her, and we appreciate what she does. Funding. Funding for the projects and maintenance we do is incorporated into the facility department budget. We're working on potential projects that are supported with grants developed in cooperation with the auditor's office and grant consultants. We've received donations such as the Kapora Memorial, which is out at Linda Castro. And all proposals require approval by the Commissioner's Court. In closing, there is a great amount of enthusiasm and energy for the future for Pathways, especially with the new Coconut Cove property. There'll be a lot of thinking going on, a lot of activity. We hope to, as the judge said, we hope to really create that legacy for Aransas County. Once again, we thank you for your support.
And thank you for your volunteering and your time.
Thank y'all, great. Appreciate y'all.
I'd like to comment on the History
Yes,
Center. I
absolutely.
was there a couple of weeks ago looking at the ongoing work, and the quality of the work is so impressive. I mean, the building really They've replaced so many different little facets of the building out on the interior and exterior that are really putting it back to being better than new, I think.
I
Right.
think so. You're right. Thank you.
The
We've had-
floors are beautiful.
Yeah, we've had years of Band-Aids all over that building, and now
Yes.
Renee really got in and made a lot of good changes. And talking about legacies, that building's going to be here for
Yes.
a couple more generations. Thank you. Item number 4.
Discuss and approve the Rockport Cultural Arts District fourth quarter report for 2025.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Day.
Hello there.
Ms. Pam, how are
And
you?
I have our new board president with us, Pam Hurd, on the other side of the aisle now. So
Ms.
we're
Hurd,
very,
Can you give your name and
oh. Pam, you want to go ahead?
Pam Hurd.
Jennifer Day, 902 East Cornwall, Rockport, Texas. So thank you for your time. This is our quarterly report. October, December was very, very busy. Obviously, the highlight was the downtown lights, the skate park. We had a beautiful downtown Christmas tree and a Hallmark Christmas tree lighting. It was really, it could have been in a movie. It was fantastic. Thank you for those who were able to enjoy it. So let's see, Colin. I'm in charge, right? Okay. Here we go. So here's some statistics. 7 weeks. It was a very aggressive timeline to make this thing happen. The funding was through hot funding from the city. It was approved in September. And basically leading and directing businesses, organizations, and venues, and that many was quite a challenge to get commitments for downtown shopping hours late. And getting that commitment was something different for the merchants, for them to commit to. And for us to publish that, we had to make sure that we didn't publish something that was not going to be factual. That would have been undermining this whole initiative. Merchants reported they did receive some benefit, as well as there were other residual benefits, but they reported up to 27% increase in sales. Again, I mentioned the building facade lights, harbor boat lights. Connection to Christmas at the beach was very important to extend that footprint, extend that offering for locals as well as tourists that came into town to lure people into town. The downtown Christmas tree, I think I've pretty much already covered this slide, but there was a lot of activity that was so much, it was fun to be a part of, a lot of work. We had a photo contest to encourage visibility and enhance social media. We had pop-ups, we had live music, and that was during the day and the evening. Art demonstrations, receptions, our lighted train rides, vintage Christmas at the Railroad Museum, and then here's the brochure that Michelle Simmons, Scarlett Embry, and I put together. Michelle McMahon worked on this as well. So there was a lot of activity. Event sponsors, to mention City of Rockport, Aransas County Navigation District, Rockport Events Calendar, and Rockport Marina Village. It's the back side of that threefold with the map. And here's some great visuals. It was really a game changer, I think, in downtown at Christmas. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Ecosystem Tourism Initiative. And I believe you'll remember last year we held our first Ecosystem Summit. It was very well attended, very, very good feedback. As a part of that, we completed a documentary on Charlie Belair and his lifetime achievements of ecosystem improvements and enhancements and habitat maintenance along the Gulf Coast. We also initiated proclamations, which you approved, as well as the other governmental entities, including the town of Fulton. And we have at Todd Hunter's desk recognition in the 90th legislature to proclaim Aransas County as the ecosystem capital of the Texas Gulf Coast. And all of this was sparked by the Cultural Interface Sculpture, which you may remember was a partnership between Steve Russell, Aransas County Navigation District, and the Cultural Arts District championed that whole initiative. Quite a landmark, still is today when thousands of people drive by it every day. It has a wildlife certified wildlife habitat around it, and that has sparked the city, the county right-of-ways. And some of you were there a couple of weeks ago when Charlie called us and TxDOT was there. So it's actually morphed to a state level. Good progress. The documentary has been shared with students and through naturalist programs, trying to encourage others to be a Charlie Belair and put efforts towards our natural habitat. And our Ecosystem Summit 2026 will be June 19th, and we have the Aransas County Community Center reserved for that. We have a lot of partners. So we have Master Naturalists, Pathways. We have a lot of different organizations that will participate in this, from artists, sporting artists, to different groups like CCA, and also commercial businesses like Tommy Moore, for example, with the skimmer. So it's a full, broad scope for the Ecosystem Summit. This is a major tourism draw. One of the things, I reside on the CVB board, and looking at the stats in our weekly meeting last week, the number one stats that were highlighted were ones regarding nature. Of all the different categories that the CVB promotes, nature was the highest one. So this is a true area for us to bring in and capitalize on this opportunity for Aransas County. That's what we're hoping for.
Jennifer, will those hours be probably the same hours for this year? Because I was just putting that date in my calendar.
Yes.
11 to 5.
11 to 5.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, continued growth at the Railroad Museum. We continue to get wonderful children in, and they love playing with our trains. It's so much fun to see them light up when they come in. We had a great acquisition this past quarter, and that was the acquisition of a vintage Southern Pacific, which is so appropriate. Southern Pacific took over San Antonio and Aransas Pass Railroad, so that was donated to us from the former Houston Railroad Museum, which is managed by the Gulf Coast chapter of the National Railway Historical Society. The rail came from the State of Texas Transportation Museum. It's actually 1870s rail from the old Fort Houston train. These are just great visuals. We have live music on the deck every second Saturday. Lots of fun. Kids love our little train. Okay, next project, which has a goal completion date of March 31st. We continue to work on this rainwater harvesting project through the coastal bend bays and estuaries. This will be capturing rainwater, and just on this sign you can see just 3 inches of rain will fill this 3,000-gallon tank. It's hard to think about that, but to quantify it and how important water is in today's society, this is a tremendous opportunity to showcase this. So we will be completing the project by the end of first quarter 26, and then we will be showcasing that. Let me go back. Okay, we continue to have our district merchant meetings. We are the conduit for that. It's very important to be able to communicate with our different merchants. Certainly the downtown lighting created a lot of cohesiveness among the merchants. We continue to work on various projects in the district, not only for the merchants, but for the district at a high level. Continue with Second Saturdays. We have our YouTube channel, the various documentaries and commercials, which are pretty good Pretty cool. Okay. We've been working on these events, so I went ahead and included it in this report. We have a Texas Heritage Crochet and Fiber Arts exhibit that will be Fridays and Saturdays starting March 20th until April the 11th. That is at the Aransas County Community Center. We've got state-level speakers as well as we've got Susie Brock-Black and Steve Russell. Steve will be actually creating fiber like the Indians used to do. Is very interesting. So he'll be doing a lot of the primitive fiber arts. Our Ecosystem Summit, we have the Mural Fest coming up, and we got some great ideas there, some community participation mural events coming up in that. And these are the different areas that the murals promote. Obviously, they're a visual 24/7 by 365. They don't close their doors. They're open all the time for marketing. Texas Culinary Arts Show will be partnering with Picnic Deli and Wine Bar, and that's going to be in October at The Rock. We'll continue to have Halloween in the district, and looking forward to Christmas in the district this year. So these are statistics from the Texas Historical Commission of visits, 77.84, I believe. My eyes are not real good right there, but let's say 78% of the individuals come from the state of Texas, and you can see a few in the outlying areas. City visitation primarily from San Antonio State. You can see, obviously, Texas is the main one. DMA is a designated marketing area, and so those mainly come from San Antonio. These are the one-day trips, two-day trips, and three-day trips, visitor days during this quarter. These are the different demographics on age, income, household, education level, and ethnicity from our visitors. And then I added Placer AI. So Placer AI, I'm sure you know the Economic Development Corporation now has Placer AI, and that's now a part of what we look at in our CVB board is the results from Placer AI. This was the initial report that came. You can see there were more visitors in 2025 than in 24, and to a fairly great extent. The other thing here is looking at the hourly visits. So the merchants were open. They stayed open past 5 o'clock, and you can see that spike at 6 o'clock, 7, 8, and how it dwindles down. We also had spikes right around the noon to 2 p.m. time frame. This is came out a little bit fuzzy. Visits year over year, 12.7% increase there. These are our quarterly financials. And then this is our board of directors of happy, talented individuals who contribute a great deal. Any questions?
The information that you received from Datafy that you said is with the Texas Historic Commission,
Mm-hmm.
could you remind me a little bit about that, please?
Sure. So, so it is a geofencing software. The THC, they put it in place when we had the Smithsonian exhibit, which you know was through the THC, and they've allowed us to continue to use that software. So there's your footprint. It's the borders of the cultural district as well as they mirror the Heritage District overlay, one for one.
And how long is that opportunity available to you all?
As long as we want it through Sarah Page. If you know Sarah, Sarah has been in the top tourism director position in the state of Texas, as long as we want it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Okay. Any other questions? Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You did a
ladies.
great job.
Thank you for your service too, Pam, on the board.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great year.
All right, move on to item number 5.
Do we have to
Yes.
vote?
Oh,
Commissioner-
discuss, we do have to.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 5.
I move to approve Resolution R-04-2026, designating County Judge Ray Garza as authorized official for Aransas County's existing for year 2025 Homeland Security Operations Stone Garden Grant Program, grant number 3171811, effective March 1st, 2026.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second. Ms. Jackie?
Yes, this is just a resolution that will continue our Stone Garden grant that we use for overtime.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 6.
Move to approve conceptual plan to subdivide 2720 State Highway 188, a 5.856 acre tract on Fort Bay.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second. Morning, Kat.
Good morning. All right. This conceptual plan is coming before you, before the final plat can come before y'all. And it is for the Redfish Camp property on 188. The proposed subdivision is included in the packet. And it will have water and be on on septic systems. And so each lot would be a half-acre lot. What questions can I help with?
So, Cap,
Yes, sir.
where are they getting the public water from?
From the same.
Sunset Bay or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The Sunset Bay Utility District, or it's the utility district that services Sunset Bay.
And just for clarification, this is the site where there used to be that little Redfish Camp Arena.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned, excuse me, lot sizes would be a half acre or more. To be honest, the attachment is so small. I was just curious what the size of the lots ranged from.
It is, the smallest is a half acre and the largest is 1.29 acres. And it is based on updated survey data, and so when you look at the appraisal district, you might notice a little slightly different looking shaped lot, but this is based on the more updated survey data.
So, Kat, I know at one time this property had some issues with the Corps of Engineers and maybe the GLO. Do you know if that's been resolved?
That is the current owner has been working to resolve those issues. I know that he has hired a environmentalist in order to manage the core permitting and make sure that that is in compliance, and we will make, that will have to be verified before the final plat can come before y'all.
And I did ask David Reed, where is David Reed? There he is. Since I saw his name on this, a question because, and this might feed into what Commissioner Casterline just asked. This looks very much like tidal flat area, and I was just curious how that was going to work with the floodplain.
It will make the septic systems more expensive. They will have to be designed more specifically to accommodate how close it is to the water and the floodplain. They have acquired a fill permit to elevate the property already, and they have gotten we did verify they were permitted through TCEQ. So they've been working to elevate the property where they can in order to better make the lots more developable.
Thank you for that information.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 7.
I move to approve a request for variance on county minimum lot size requirements to replat 129 and 130 West Glen Oak Drive.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Kat, tell us about this one.
This is a more standard variance request. It's for the Holiday Beach subdivision, and so it's to accommodate the septic requirements and the HOA's deed restrictions.
So I have a question about.
Yes, ma'am.
Under the proposed legal description where it shows 130-R, you indicated .23 acres and 10,000 square feet. I didn't know if that 10,000 square feet meant in addition to the .23 acres. But then down below, you indicate that the proposed lot size is .32 acres.
I apologize. The proposed legal description has the correct acreage. It is a 10,000 square foot total with a .230 acre. It's just another way to phrase it for clarity. But I apologize that, please disregard that proposed lot size in the reason for the variance request. That was an error on my end.
Okay, thank you for straightening that out.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, motion passes. Number 8.
I move to approve order number 0-02-2026 regarding the status of the unnamed right-of-way which intersects Shell Ridge Road directly north of 2301 Shell Ridge Road.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Now, is this the road that's off the beach up between the houses that goes, where is this located?
This one is closer to the entry of the subdivision, but it is directly to the north of 2301 Shell Ridge. But this property, this came up about a few months ago. The current owner, Ms. Stoner, contacted our office regarding clarification on the status of this right-of-way. And whenever staff started to do our research into the right-of-way, we found a few contradictory records, and that ended up being part of why Ms. Stoner was contacting us. The oldest records that we were able to find, and luckily, because this property has been in Ms. Stoner's family for over a century, she was able to provide the family's records for the property, which did provide us a lot more clarity. As y'all know, we've gone through a few different building changes, filing changes, and a lot of the times these discrepancies come up whenever there was the digitization of files. But the earliest files that the family have from 1927 and for the deed records show that this was that the right-of-way was in fact closed and that the property taxes included the right-of-way or the half of the right-of-way as it was allocated to the property owners. Up until about the 90s, that's when we started to see the discrepancy. And unfortunately, it's not terribly uncommon for us to come across discrepancies. And whenever they do come up, we just have to go back and look at what the property records say. And that's where we looked at both the the deed history to look at how the property was titled, described when it was transferred from owner to owner, and also at the property tax records. And that's where we found pretty conclusively that it was properly closed. At some point, there was a error in transferring the properties or naming of the legal description, and it stuck. So we have, as a result, a few different conflicting records, and this would just be a way to clarify the determination that it was closed so that the current property owner can move forward with what they need to do with the property.
And they have been paying property taxes on that all along.
Yes, sir. Yep, the legal description changed, but the amount of taxable property did not.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, motion passes. Item number 9.
Move to approve the use of any tobacco settlement funds received from the state of Texas by the established Aransas County Tobacco Awareness Program.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Good morning, Madam
Morning.
Treasurer.
So last Commissioners Court, it was approved that I fill out the paperwork, send it in the state's request, the tobacco settlement. Today, we are asking to use the funds, whatever we get, usually $25,000 average, we don't know, but for the Aransas County Tobacco Awareness Program, which is run by the Juvenile Case Management Department, Laura Rios, and so she is here to tell you what she does with her program.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning. So the Juvenile Case Management Program, we educate, and drugs, alcohol, and tobacco is part of it. So any offense that they get with vaping, which we know nationwide is an epidemic, we try to educate. And so for the last 2 years, I have received the fund and asked to continue because we have made a great difference. We've supported the SWAT Middle School, and they got Youth Group of the Year in '24 with their knowledge, with the props that we were able to purchase through the fund. Also, this is a great story. I had a 7th grader who ended up with a vape charge, and because we do the diversion so they don't enter into the court system, he went through the videos, and so they were playing on the platform, the game systems. And so one of the kids that was online was talking about vaping, and he was able to educate everybody playing. And so another juvenile that was also on started texting me what this kid was saying about the video. So we aim to educate, we aim to prevent, and it is a great that the funds help us do that to our young youth. So I do ask to continue the funding, to continue to support the juvenile case management program.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I think you're doing good work there. I remember when you brought the kids in with
Yes.
their T-shirts a few years ago.
Yes, and they were the
talked
ones that
about-
were recognized as Youth Group of the Year through the SWAT.
What does
So-
SWAT stand for again?
It's say what to tobacco. So it's the state of Texas that puts that in, and then all the cities and counties participate. And they were very educated, and we have prompts that we put, and they were able to use that to what happens with the lungs, and so they were able to really shine. So we're going to continue with that. I know Miss Anita passed away, and she was the leader, but they are revamping it, and so it's gonna start over.
When I was at continuing education last week, there was a representative from Brazos County speaking. And he said that vaping for teenagers is such a critical thing because also depending what they're vaping now with the THC
Yes.
stuff, it can become a felony if it happens on school grounds.
And that's the thing is that tobacco, alcohol, and marijuana are the gateway drugs, and THC and the nicotine with the vaping becomes a problem. So they have to learn what actually is doing to their undeveloped brain, because it does create bruises that they don't see. So, and also the jail has run some of our videos, and I did get parents that caught their kids with a vape, called me if they could see those videos. And so now that we're home, Judge McGinnis is getting the information TVs, so we're gonna run the information there too for the public. And then I have the juvenile stations, which are now up and going, so I'll be able to reach more.
Great.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Thanks.
Treasurer, thank you.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, motion passes. Item number 10.
I move to approve authorizing the county judge to sign G&W Engineering Amendment Number 5 as a change of scope for modification for the transfer station generator DR 43320203 at a total cost of $6,000. G&W Engineers provides professional services for 3 FEMA Federal Emergency Management Agency disaster recovery approved generator projects via the hazard mitigation grant program subaward with TDM, the Texas Division of Emergency Management. Period.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Elle's not here. She has a aquarium meeting to attend to. But this, so we've got a mechanic shop, but it's not connected to electricity or the generator. So this is a budget modification to connect it. Do the commissioners have any questions?
Can it be completed by May 22nd, which is what this amendment is saying?
Certainly hope so.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this,
There's no issue with it being completed by that time.
is,
All right.
is this a purchase of another generator? Because that's a long distance to run.
No.
No, sir, this is the same generator. It's a generator that was actually installed out at the hill. Basically, it's over there. It's not.
Oh, at the transfer station,
environmental
yeah.
hill.
Okay.
It's at the
Just
transfer
adding
station
another
out by the
building
hill.
onto it.
Yeah, okay. I was
It's
going to say,
just
that's
to
an awful
connect.
long run.
Yeah, no, it's not, it is a different generator.
Okay, good.
Is to connect the machine shop to the
Right.
generator.
Yes.
It's just
Okay.
for the electrical. And those other 2 generators have already been installed?
Yes, it's
Okay,
Road and
that's good to
Bridge and, Airport.
They're- Okay.
Was-
I thought they had.
In part of that project was establishing an issue with the, where they take the money, the cash out station. Were they able to get all their power and the coordination with the computers so that they can do electronic transfer there? You know, because last time, a year or two ago, we talked about the fact that there was no computer-based connection between the environmental building and the cash out station.
Okay, you're talking about being able to do credit card payments?
Yeah.
Have they, I don't know, I honestly don't know.
It's
That's-
kind of outside the agenda item.
That wouldn't be with the generator.
Okay, all right, that's good.
I don't know if that connection's been.
I'll get you an answer to that, Commissioner.
Okay, good.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Castellane?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dubnik?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, motion passes. Item number 11.
Discuss the recommendations and actions taken following the outside auditor's review of fiscal years 2023 and 2024.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Oh, it's just a discussion.
Right. So,
Is this mic working, Colin? Okay, I'll come up here. I know there's some discussion on this. First thing I wanted to do was clarify that as the county auditor, I am not appointed or hired by the Commissioners Court or the county judge. I do work directly for the district judges. Last year, on February 28th of 2025, I created a memo for the commissioners, and as well as I sent it to the district judges. It was dated February 28th of 2025. Judge Garza and county commissioners, since we reached the end of the fiscal year and are getting ready for the outside audit and the presentation of the annual financial statements, I would like to review a few entries that will be made in the report. Aransas County uses a pooled cash system. This is also known as our operating account for all banking. All funds that are not statutorily required to be segregated are in one bank account and controlled by separate funds in our accounting software system. It's our pooled cash fund. In our financial reports, these are reported as separate funds. For example, general fund, road and bridge, waterway restoration, etc. At the end of fiscal year 2024, 3 funds had a deficit balance. Fund 430, which is our capital project fund, 435, our downtown anchor fund, and 670, which is juvenile case manager fund. As these are all included in the pooled cash fund, balances in various funds cover the deficit and ensure that the operating account is not overdrawn. The treasurer is extremely vigilant and watching this account. Fund 430 is used for grant projects and records all expenditures and grant reimbursements. This deficit is expenses that have not been reimbursed by the end of December. Fund 435 was used for all expenses associated with building the new courthouse. We did receive $4,586,377.50 from FEMA in 2022. And as I have discussed previously, FEMA will provide another approximately $5 million if we do not receive insurance proceeds. But those funds will not be received until the project is closed out. That being said, both of these funds are borrowing from the pooled cash balances. In the last 2 audits, the funds with a deficit cash balance had an entry done as a due to from entry that zeroed out the deficit and recognized the loan from the other funds. Some may perceive this as hiding or being deceitful, but the entries were actually recording the loan and being transparent. Page 52 and 53 of the notes of the financial statement, number 2, stewardship, compliance, and accountability, deficit fund balance in the annual financial report for December 21-23 states that deficit funding will need to come from the general fund or other resources. I have reached out to the outside auditors regarding the entries needed for 24 to better explain these entries below in what I received from Michael Brotherton CPA with Crow LLP. They were our outside auditors. A liability is reported with either method mentioned earlier, or I will read that in a moment. This is the correct treatment in accordance with GASB and in a common entry for local governments. The only way for a fund to accumulate a deficit cash balance when part of the pooled cash is to borrow from another fund. So recognizing a due to other fund is appropriate. Entities will typically reverse out the interfund entry to track the cash balance throughout the year, and then at year end, post due to and due froms for entries for reporting purposes. The first email received, which was one that was referenced in this one, was those entries are made for reporting purposes. They can be reversed out at the beginning of the fiscal year to show the deficit amounts again. Instead of reporting a negative cash balance, a due to entry is posted to zero out the deficit and show the amounts owed to other funds. The county can then reverse the entry after the audit to get back to the deficit balances. This is the most common approach for the deficit cash. The alternative is showing a deficit cash liability and an actual liability instead of the interfund liability. Under the liability section of the report, with the pooled cash, if a fund is deficit cash, then that means an ultimately borrowing from another fund. In conclusion, these entries will be done for the 2024 fiscal year, and as mentioned above, will be reversed in January 1st of 2025 to accurately track the cash. Regards. This was copied to not only the district judges, but was given to the county treasurer, as well as a copy to the auditor who had given me the information. I would also like to let commissioners know that the Water Restoration Fund is in full compliance. It is not a zero balance. There's approximately $5.5 million in the account, and we do take great we do take great pride in making sure that we take care of the accounts. If you have any questions.
This email, with the letter you read, and you referenced the email for Michael Brotherton?
Brotherton, yes, sir. He was
He
a
is
CPA.
basically in this email, and that clause you stated in this letter, he is verifying that what you did was acceptable.
Yes, sir. They are actually the
documented
ones that
properly.
instructed me to do that.
Yes, that's it. They showed that was the proper way to do it.
Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
Jackie, any money that was donated for the Cedar Bayou project, am I right to say that all of that money was expended in the first money that we used on Cedar Bayou?
Yes, sir. The only thing we're receiving now is we receive monies from GOMESA funds that we're putting in there. That is approximately $750,000 a year that goes into that account. When I took over my position, that money was being put into the 430 Capital Fund. I did not agree with that, and I moved it over separately so that we could account for it and it wouldn't get lost in that fund. We also, with the interest that we earn, and we do make transfers from hotel motel because we are allowed to use hotel motel funds for shoreline and beach cleanup and stuff, so we do that.
So what they're saying is you end the fiscal year with the actual balance, negative or positive, but you start the next year with first agenda, or the first entry would be an adjustment from other funds that pay back that deficit, right?
Just the opposite, Commissioner. We would actually make that due to and due from at the end of the year to report it as not a deficit. And then we would reverse it the beginning of the year so that we show the deficit, so we're actually correct. And through the year that we are reporting the correct balance.
Okay, so because of that, that allows you to say you have recorded all
Loans.
All revenues and expenditures and debt
Mm-hmm.
in the comparable year, but in the very first of the next year, you show exactly where that stuff come from.
Yes, sir.
That's very wise.
All right, any other?
There are no more questions?
Just once again, these are recommendations that you received from our outside auditors in how to treat the
Yes, ma'am.
different fund balances.
Yes, ma'am.
And we followed suit.
And that process should give us a good management letter at the end of the audit from the CPA.
Well, I mean, it should, but
Yeah.
it will probably get, and I'll be honest, we're probably going to get it again this year because we have not, for Fund 435, it's a deficit. I mean, it is because we haven't gotten the
Right.
FEMA money. We haven't closed out the project. 430 is not an
But-
issue. We've received all of those reimbursements. I think we may be like $300,000.
But we haven't in actuality overspent the project. We just have yet to
No, so
receive
we
the
just haven't
funds.
received the refunds.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's not-
And until the project is totally closed out,
Projects
we
aren't
won't get
January the
it.
1st to the December the 31st.
No, sir.
No, they're not. Okay.
Thank
good.
you.
Item number 12.
Move to approve the renewal of property and mobile insurance to include windstorm for the period of March 3rd, 2026 through March 2nd, 2027, and authorize the county judge to pay the premium.
Second?
And I notice Mr. McDavid is here.
We've got a motion and a second. We've got Blake McDavid from GSM Insurers. Morning.
Good morning, Blake McDavid, GSM Insurers. Thank you for having me. Within your packet, I believe you've received the major differences from last year. We took a program that in July 29th of last year, we wrote this building. So we added this building I'd say midterm, prorated. And we did that with two separate programs. We wrote this on a separate policy. We got a quote this year that included it all in one option, and that really made a big difference in pricing, along with when we prorated it, we made the renewal in March to coincide with the rest, so outside of hurricane season, that made a big difference as well. And we've seen a significant decrease in the pricing.
Significant being over $500,000.
Yes, ma'am.
It would be good to note
Yes,
that.
yes, ma'am.
And-
And remember that being prorated, this building, it's about 4 months of premium that was not showing, so it's really probably a little more than that, annual to annual.
In savings.
Yes, in savings.
And just one question. Where you have SOV, I should probably know what that means, but I don't. It's 64 million.
That's your total statement of values for the county. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner, got any questions?
So our assets.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Blake.
So just
Commissioner
for-
Cheney?
Oh, I was going to say, just for the record, so our premium's going to be $929,118.78, which is over a $500,000 decrease. So appreciate the work you've done.
I thank you all very much, and thank your staff very much for working with us throughout the year to get the schedule correct. It's a lot of work, and we greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you,
So,
Jackie.
Thank you all.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, motion passes. Item number 13.
Move to approve December 2025 Auditor's Monthly Report.
Second.
I'll come back up here.
You did receive the report. It did not have the budget on a page on it that I normally put in the report. I will be getting you that at the next meeting. We, as part of our audit and our financial reports at the end of the year, we do keep our accounts payable open until the end of February to catch anything that is, that was purchased in December or at the end, in 2025 this year. That's part of our modified accounting or modified accrual accounting method. So I will be getting you that next time. But other than that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them on projects.
Not a question, I just want to note something. Two things. Thank you for talking to me yesterday, even on a Sunday. I appreciate it. And for January and February of this year, we're seeing 27% increase in our sales tax.
We did see a
collection,
really
so
good.
that's a
And
good
that,
direction.
those collections were actually like November and December of last year. So we did have a good end of the year.
But when you look down that chart to 2008, it's tremendous what we received this, beginning this year. So we're going in a good way so far.
So far.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Jackie.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, motion passes. Item number 14.
Move to approve accounts payable and payroll liabilities.
I'll second that.
Yes, you have the list with you. It's regular accounts payable, accounts, the payroll liabilities. I do have two that the treasurer has asked me to walk in. They're rapid payments, so they're for the jury. One is for $522. That is check number 13765 for Rapid Financial Solutions. And another one is check 13770. The same thing for Rapid Financial Solutions, and it's $5,096. Would like to recognize some of the expenditures that we had. We had investments that were purchased for $2 million. Then we had in 270, which is the waterway restoration, we did cut a check to Anchor QEA for Shell Ridge Road Engineering for $29,880.75. Garza Bomberg out of 280, which is the hotel motel funds. They're the architects for the aquarium for $43,345. In our capital projects fund, we, Hanson Engineering, for the Lamar drainage, and that's under the MIT-MOD grant, was $43,660. U.S. Corps, the U.S. Corps, it's a GLO grant. This is for our CAP 204. We cut a check for $1,107,333. This is the one that GLO is giving us, and we turn around and we pay it to the Corps of Engineers. We're just the pass-through on the grant. We have not received the funds yet, so this check will be held until we receive the funds, and the Corps knows that. Texas Comptroller's Office. These are funds that were not used through the SB 22 for the Sheriff's Office of $1,215.29. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye, motion passes. Looks like section number 12, reports from commissioners, elected officials, and department heads. No action will be taken. Commissioners, I got anything? All right, elected officials, department heads. Mike, you got nothing? No report. All right. Item number I don't have anything either. I don't feel very well today. Item number 13, reports about items of community interest. No action will be taken. Yes, ma'am.
This is just a reminder.
Oh, come up. We won't be able to hear you.
You want me to state my name too?
Yes.
Yes, please.
I'm Laura McCorkle, Alderwoman for the town of Fulton. I just want to remind everyone and invite everyone that next Thursday, March 5th, starts Oysterfest, and it goes through the 8th, and we would love to see you all out there. We raise a lot of good money for our Fulton Fire Department and the vendors, lots of good food and entertainment and fun, so please come. Thank you.
We'll be there.
Yes, Ms. Kane, come on up.
Judge?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, so Kathy Kane, Rockport. Just a reminder, we have two events happening this week as part of the Aransas County Historical Society. The first one is Wednesday afternoon from 2 to 4. It'll be held at the Mansion Education Center, the Fulton Mansion Education Center, an informal chat about great historical photos. So pictures that talk. So that'll be a good one. And then we're excited to host our annual meeting at the community center. It'll be held on Thursday, starting at 6:30, and we are featuring the 100-year history of the Aransas County Navigation District. So both free events. Public are encouraged to attend both, and at the Thursday event, we'll have some light refreshments. So hope to see y'all there. Thanks.
Appreciate you.
And that's at the community center?
It's
is
at
that
the
what you
community
said?
center, yep.
Thanks, Kim.
Colin's going to hook me up on how to use all the equipment. So we're really excited to host it there. Thank y'all.
Yes, Commissioner.
We have a plaque from, in the courtyard from William Travis's letter to the Alamo, and tomorrow is actually the 190th anniversary of his letter to the Alamo. Just wanted to
Oh, perfect.
make people aware of that.
Yes, sir.
Jerry Brundrick, County Surveyor. What I want to do is congratulate the Pathways Board of Directors on the positive Facebook message that they've been putting out about our community and about our pathways and about our facilities. I think Rich went over that way too fast. He's already gone. I wish he would have been here because they have done a fantastic job on presenting a positive representation of our community. And I think a lot of the new people coming to our community to visit is because of seeing that positive message. We get a lot of negativism on Facebook, and we need more of this positive. So I wanted to publicly congratulate them for the job they're doing. And I think some of y'all agree with that. So
absolutely.
just
Absolutely.
encourage them to keep up the good work. So thank y'all.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jerry.
sir. Mike, you got anything with emergency management? Did I get an alert on Saturday night? Did y'all get an alert?
Yeah, fire alert.
Winds.
Fire? What's that?
Were you talking about the automatic message that went
Yeah.
out? Yeah, and a lot of those, I don't actually push the button
Okay,
and send it.
okay.
National Weather Service sends most of those. I have the ability to send those, but that's part of being on Everbridge. That's already kind of baked into the cake that they're going to send messages whenever they see a threat, red flag warnings, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
that's what it
You're
was.
not responsible for waking us up.
Yeah. And that's the difference in opting in via text versus going in and setting up a dashboard account. You can kind of cafeteria style plan, with the dashboard account. I recommend that. It's a little bit, there's more steps involved than just texting your zip code to 888-777. But if you do it the other way, if you text in, then you're going to get everything.
I did the dashboard, but I still get everything.
Yeah, I did too. From the emergency management window, I am going to be hosting today the emergency action plan for Oyster Fest. This is our first major event of the year. Le Mardi Gras is kind of starting to creep into that category where we need to probably think about having an emergency action plan for it. But I wanted to try to change the culture just a little bit going forward, where we have an emergency action plan meeting at least a week prior to the event. Not too far away that people kind of forget what we talk about, but also not to impose on the folks that have to do setup. Because in the case of Oyster Fest, that's all the firemen that are down there doing the setup and everything, and then they're working the event. So, yeah, so I need to kind of have it outside of the window of their setup as well. Colin's going to provide somebody to help me patch in the National Weather Service for a weather briefing. It's important for us to know what the weather's going to do that week. If we have red flag warnings, we've had heavy fog, those conditions exist, and it's a good idea for us to kind of talk about that ahead of time. And then also, what do you do if something happens away from Oyster Fest, and we have so many first responders that are at Oyster Fest. So if you have the conversation ahead of time, then it gives you a better operating picture in the event that we're faced with something. And so that'll be today. And then, and like I say, just expect one of those ahead of Seafair. Probably, I think I've got one ahead of 4th of July weekend, and then obviously ahead of hurricane season.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, so at this time, we don't need to go into executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo?
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick?
Aye.
Judge Garza?
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you so much.